Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Yahweh be in the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shah be in the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now, when you look at the picture, pretty much you see something that's not being seen on a regular basis and was not being seen in the history of this so-called American empire, with these other nations supporting it. You've seen uh, images to the contrary. And so what else is these people hiding? Now we know that they have catacombs under Rome where the Israelites was hiding, and they was painting all kind of stuff on the walls in them catacombs. Uh, they have some 60 catacombs that's been, when they pretty much use it as tourism, but only two of them, I think, have millions of people to come look at what's down there, because they either recreated the situation and repainted and debased the paintings on the wall, like they did these statues that they would find, like the Olmec statue. They would knock the lip off or knock the nose off, or say they was using the stones for something else, so they had to take it off with a Olmec head. Or in Egypt, the big statues with broad noses, they would knock them off, and broad lips, they would knock the lips off. Because we know not only is these people trying to hide, but they also hiding valuable information. And so when you're talking about the devil means to deceive. It means to be a liar. You see, but people, especially when it's the biblical term of devil, you see, it means to be a liar and an enemy. Then you have Satan, which is adversary to God, meaning they is against God, and they pretty much is against the truth. Because as soon as the truth come out, and these individuals uh, pretty much is presented with the truth, they reject it. And so let's get this scripture pretty much in let's see, Colossians. Colossians, let's see here. Colossians chapter 1. I'm gonna start at 26. It says, even the mystery or the secret which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now it is made manifest to the saints. See, things was hidden from the saints, from the Israelites, which are the saints. Things was hidden from them. But like Daniel 12 and 9 say, that in the time and the end the book shall be open, meaning the understanding of the books. Let's go to Luke. Luke 12 verse 2. It say, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. What was covered? What was covered, and who covered it? Let's go to, let's see here. let's go to the book. The book of Job. Oh, snap. The book of Job. Starting at chapter 9. Job 9 and 24. It said, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the face of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the wicked have covered the faces of the ultimate judge and the Israelites, who are all judges, and they presented themselves as Yahushua, who they ignorantly called Christ. See, they presented themselves with blue hair, blonde eyes, look like he got makeup on. He's totally effeminate. So how these individuals gonna get in God's graces if they thinking the opposite of how he want them to think? Because some people want them to cover the faces of the judges. Okay, let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 25 and 7. It said, he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. See, this covering cast that Esau put on the nations was the true knowledge of who the Israelites was and how they looked, and these other nations that had ancient biblical nationalities before you come up with these tests and this history, inaccurate history, that try to say that the disciples was pretty much not a people of color, when the paintings in the Roman icons was the people of color, and the painting that was through the Byzantine Empire was the people of color. And they debased these paintings and covered them up with lighter skinned people, taking the color out of the paintings. And they've been doing this. They did it in the Greek captivity. In the Greek captivity, it says that they pretty much changed the images to fit them, to fit the Greeks at the time. And so this is what a deceiver does. That's why in Revelation, let's get that real quick. Revelation, let's see. Revelation 20. See, once the so-called dark ages that the Israelites and the Muslims and the so-called Hamites was ruling, those lands of Gog and Magog, or the lands of the children of Japheth, those people in those lands, they was coming out of pretty much a servitude to the nobles that was up there, mixed with Hamites and Israelites, and so, and Arabs, even Moabites and Ammon. But the strategy of the not the strategy, the situation of the pretty much, I'm gonna say, Bible believers, the people that don't believe the Bible, you see, that's really what it boiled down to. And so, let me just read Revelations 20 to match it up with those other precepts. It says, verse 2, and he laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan and bound him for 1,000 years. So during the Byzantine Empire, this is what happened. These red dragons, who are the adversary of God, which is Satan in the Hebrew, and are the devils, which is the deceivers, they was taken into a lower class level after they was ruling Rome and Greece, and they was put in there's bottomless pit. Pit goes for land, and bottomless means it's not at the bottom; it's at the top. It's a northern land. That's what bottomless pit means. See, when you go into the Old English, pit was considered for land. Then you can go into the Apocrypha. It tells you that God chose one land. Let's go into that. That'll be a good thing to bring up in the Apocrypha. Let's bring that up. P-I-T. I think it said pits. Okay, 9. Maccabees. Alright, so let's put pit. Alright, got some 3 something. Yeah, the pit meant land. That's what people get messed up thinking that these people did something. Okay. I'm thinking it might be in Maccabees, but at the same time, it could be in Ezra's. Yeah, I think it's in Ezra's. Okay, let's see here. Let's put in land and Lily. You know what? Let's put in Lily because see this thing giving me a hard time. Did I spell Lily right? There we go. So, okay, here we go, right here. 2nd Ezra 5 and 24. It say, and of all lands, that's the key word, lands. This is what the subject is about. Of of all the land in the whole world, thou have chosen but one land. But they didn't say land, they said pit. So when it says the bottomless pit, it's talking about a land. And he had only one land, which is Jerusalem, which is Israel. That was his land that he chose. So when you say the bottomless pit, it's talking about lands. This is the northern land where Gog and Magog, or Europe as they call it. This is what he was put in prison to, pretty much, that he was going to serve the royal class, Israelites and Muslim Hamites that was ruling at that time. And so after that happened, you jump down to Revelations chapter 20, verse, let's see here. Verse 3, he say, and cast him into the bottomless pit, the northern land, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he shall deceive the nations no more. See, he was always the old serpent that was going to come and deceive. In the Garden of Eden, he was Eve in the Garden of Eden because he was not trying to deceive. Okay, so let's go to let's see here. Oh, Revelation 12. It further talks about these people who covered the faces of the judges. 12 and 9, they say that, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. See, it's the old serpent, the great dragon, and that old serpent. Dragon and serpent go hand in hand. You see? And then it said they was called, meaning this called the name. Somebody just randomly calling them a name. They was called the devil and Satan, who the whole world, which deceived the whole world. This is what they do. They deceive the whole world. They covered the faces of the people in the world. The covering cast and the veil that's over all people, teaching them false information. And so, just want to bring that out about how these people um pretty much make up anything and don't have no hardcore facts or biblical text to back up what they talking about.